The Geneva Conventions, an international humanitarian law aimed at putting some kind of regulation on the brutalities of war, seeking to protect civilians and the wounded, was adopted 70 years ago today. The conventions state, among other things, that torture is prohibited, rape and other forms of sexual violence too, and the wounded, it says, have to be given medical care. Well, today, conflicts from Syria to Yemen to Burma have all seen violations of the Geneva Conventions. So what is its current weight and where is it working? Well, to give us her view, we can speak to international lawyer and specialist in international human rights, Ms. Sharon Vale. Ms. Vale, thanks for your time. Can I start by asking you simply that, where in the current conflicts, and I'm thinking Yemen, Myanmar, Syria, it seems like the Geneva Conventions are regularly just thrown out. Are they being applied anywhere and respected?
Hello. It's like law in generally. When we have the law, we have also the violation, right? And this is exactly the point of the law, because if we won't have the regulation, then we couldn't even speak about any violation and perhaps persecution in the future. So the simple fact that we are discussing about the Geneva Convention and the violation, it means that those instruments mean something. And I want to go back even to the Western states when they do fight and they do commit some violation of the Geneva Convention. They always try to legitimize their acts through the law. So I think that in this sense, it means that the law has a meaning. Now, of course, the main issue is the problem of the enforcement and what do we do when we have the violation. So, I'm not speaking about Yemen or this conflict or another one, but just more theoretically. And I think that since the Geneva Convention were ratified, we have installed an entire legal system. So it's beyond the Geneva Convention. And by the way, the Geneva Convention were universally ratified by all the states, which is also a very big achievement.
But yet, Ms. Vale, sorry to interrupt, but, the laws are in place, but, they're violated really with what looks with very little consequences.
Yeah, okay, so this is another issue, and this is the issue of the enforcement. So just let's again put things into the context, because we are already in the war situation, which are armed conflict, right? We can't be in a more violent situation than in an armed conflict. Now, we have the laws that limits, as you say, the treatment of prisoners, that limits the fact that you cannot target civilians, etc. So what do we do? Perhaps also the law is being respected, but just we are not speaking about when the law is respected, right? And then what happens when we do have violation? So this is the question which is more general, not only for the Geneva Convention, but more generally, what do we do? So we have created the ICC, but we all know that there are major geopolitical issues to enforce them. And then it's not anymore a question of law, but it's also a question of what are the geopolitical forces that are interested in implementing the law.
Indeed. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there, Miss Sharon Vale. But thanks so much for your time and giving us that insight. And, I have picked up on that positive angle that, at least the regulations are in place. Still, it sounds like a little bit more work to be done. Well, that's where we're going to have to leave it for this edition. Do take care.